Wallace and Gromit. Wallace and Gromit. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are watching this. Today I'm back at the job where I built some partition walls, as you can see in the back. Today I need to the client's coming back tomorrow, I believe, so I need to get the lighting back on. So I need to get this all connected and tested, get some sockets, disconnect that one, get it in the floor, rejig the cabling. I'll show you that. I need to get a shower switch in here, in this wall here, get all that done and ready. Yeah, so I'm going to take you downstairs now, show you the consume unit and just show you a bit of an issue that I've got in there first. Okay, so here we are at the consume unit. So what I've got to try and do is try and get the cable into this area somehow. I might have to go back entry into the garage and then up into the room, because where I'm working is above that garage there. So this is the consume unit. I haven't put any locks on these because it's just me here. I've got the key and no signs, but this is just locking these MCBs off. That one's off, that isn't me. But what I've got here, look, is 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 32 amp breakers here. What I need to do is get a shower circuit in here. But what I'm thinking about doing is doing some clamp testing on these when the client's back, to, you know, see what gear they've got in use. So I'm guessing one of these is going to be a kitchen ring, a new extension, up and down. That's what I'm hoping. I haven't checked yet, but I will check that. And what I'm thinking of doing is derating these to 20 amp ring main. It's absolutely fine. It's even safer than a 32 amp in essence. So I could do that, and then that will free up some space. These are 6s. I'm not worried about these at all. They've got a lot of LED spotlights, so you know, if I clamp tested that, you're probably looking at, you know, they're 6 or 7 watts, the LEDs, so not even an amp. And then you've got a cooker circuit there, which obviously I can't change, and the immersion's off anyway, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. That wasn't me, that was like that. So I'm going to do some work on this today. I might order some 20 amp breakers. I've got to get a 40 amp breaker for the shower. It's got a 100 amp main incomer. Yeah, so that's what I'm looking at doing today. So I think first thing I'm going to look at doing is getting the shower cable in. So someone's kindly cut and sort of lifted a board here. So I'm going to lift this one, see what I've got under here, and that consume unit is just below here. So I'm hoping I can get it on that angled where they've boxed in the stairs. If not, I'll have to think about that. And then I'm going to get the flooring up through here. I'm going to cut a new piece through here, and that will get me into this open floor where I can probably go through these existing holes, save me drilling any, and then I'm going to bring the cable up this wall to a new switch here somewhere, and then the cable's going to go to the shower. And there's a bit of confusion with this depth issue. I mean, this wall here, I mean, if you was to measure that, you haven't got greater than 50 mil on this wall. So obviously I've kept it in the zone. And with the shower, likewise, the shower switch will go there, and the shower's going here, so effectively that shower across is a zone, and then that switch is a zone. So I could do that, or I could go from the switch up and then within 150 mil and back down. So I've got options, and the reason I did this on this wall, which caused quite a lot of stir, is because this wall is greater than 50 mil from either side. It's a 5-inch wall. So the only wall you can do it on is a 5-inch. Look, okay. So that cleared any confusion as to why I did that, and I did this. If you think someone's going to put a 60 or 70 mil screw in there, then there's something wrong with you. Recently snapped the head on my Magnuson. Look, poor thing. That was undoing a wood screw, which I should have got the gun on. So that's going in the bin, and I've pulled out the old Weeha. Some of you might approve. So this is where I'm at. I've got this one up. This is Plumber's Pipe City here. This is what I told you about, the consume units down here. There is a cavity down in there. These are the, under here is the kitchen, so this will be all the kitchen stuff. I've got sort of a 6 mil here, which will do the oven, and some lighting cables, an old bonding cable, which is undersized, 6 mil. and some 2.5 cables, which I assume will be kitchen sockets. So I've got to try and get my cable down there, through here, stay well clear of this stuff, and go under that floor into that partition wall to my switch. Right, so next thing I'm going to do is literally just cut this bit of flooring out. I'm not telling you what to go and buy one. This is a very domesticated tool, but for doing chipboard floors, this is very handy. And it also cuts through nails and screws. If you don't see them, it will just whiz straight through. So I'm not telling you to go and get one. It's a domestic tool, but it is bloody handy. That's all I'm saying. Okay, all I've done is cut the tongue off the board. So as you can see now, this one is springing, but it's still screwed, goes under my new frame, blah, blah, blah. I knew that was going to happen. So what I'm going to do now is probably do like an 8-inch rip down here. But the reason I just lift this one corner is because you can actually then have a glance underneath just to make sure that there's nothing like pipework that's going to dive this way and tight to the board. So if you slice through, you're going to be fine. And the reason I cut it on the tongue is because you haven't got to go the full depth, because the tongue is only in the centre. So you can set your cutter, you know, this is 18mm, you can set your cutter at 16 and you know you're not going to go through this and you're only going to cut the tongue off. And then it just gives you that little inspection hatch through there, which I now know I can do an 8-inch rip on the floor. Okay, there's my little rip. As you can see, I haven't hit anything, thank God for that. I hate it when you have little moments. I heard their waterfall outside and I thought, oh my God, I've hit wall pipe, but nothing there. So as you can see, sockets off, those cables go down in cap in there, and here they are. So what I need to do is get these cables out the wall into this floor, because that socket is going, that's behind the door, that we don't need that. And we're going to reroute these cables. One's actually long enough to come back to a socket on the wall here. I think she wanted 2, but she's not going to get it because of this bit, unless they build this wall out a bit more. So one socket I'm going to put there, and then I'm probably going to have to put a maintenance free joint on one leg. Hopefully I won't, I'll let you know, but one leg might be long enough to come over to these, and then I'll drop another leg down and create the ring again. So that'll be the sockets done in this bedroom then. But now, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get through these holes because it's pretty bunched. So I'm going to have to do a measurement and then get the shower cable straight through this nice open air now, and then up into the switch there. Right, I've got some bits here, 6 downlighters, deep 47mm metal back box, and an MK 45 amp switch. People say to me, why do I use metal back boxes over plasterboard? Anywhere that you can get a metal box in, it's just best to. Some people won't agree with that, some people will agree with that, but to me, getting a metal box in a wall that you can is much better than just cutting in a plasterboard box. If I was to just leave these cables hanging, get it finished, let it get plastered, then come back, I've got to find these cables, and there's no guarantee I will. Obviously I know where they are because I built the bloody walls, but if I wasn't the builder here, I would be guessing at where these cables would be. So and another thing, it's got a better fire rating than a plastic box, so that's the reason I use metal back boxes where possible. Don't get me wrong, if I was to add a socket, you know, if I needed to add a socket in here at a later date, I wouldn't hesitate to use a plasterboard box, but I'll probably be inclined to put some fire putty in the back now. Right, here's where I'm at. Cables clipped where necessary, and then it jumps through these holes. Flooring bits back down. Box is cut in, just there, just under the light switch. And I've added another brace in here just to take the side of these boxes. So cable now comes through the bottom, will be clipped up here, drill through there, into the bottom, then I'll have to take it out the top. It'll just run behind this switch, which is fine, it's still in the zone and it's still within the plasterboard. It's going to come up, go through the side here, in the zone to the shower, just here. Quick thing, someone did mention, why don't you bend the tabs down? I do, I was not at that stage of the job, but rest assured the tabs that aren't used are now bent in towards the box, so they're not going to foul the cables. And that is going to get a grommet, don't worry, I'm just going to go to the van now and get it. Wallace and grommet. Wallace and grommet. Okay, so I got the cable this far. It runs down this little gap which I made right against this timber. There's a little cavity below here where they boxed in the stairs. Unfortunately, I had to drill one hole, which I'll patch up and make good. And that enabled me to get my arm up, feed the cable down and out a little hole here, which I'll then trunk down on the angle and it'll go into the edge of the board there. So plug put back in, I will just give that a little skim over, and now cable is just awaiting in here for a piece of trunking down the wall to the consumer unit. But now I'm going to go back upstairs. Right, here I'm at, shower cable's now in, runs up behind in the zone and then goes across the zone to the shower, which will sit here. Okay, that's going to be left open because I know plumber has got to get his pipe in. So I'm going to now plasterboard this wall to here. This wall has got some sound insulation in, but I'm going to stop it short here and here, just to give this cable some room to breathe basically. And I'm not even going to put any in here, or here, because these cables run up. But I will just fill these little gaps in and then plasterboard. Right, I've moved on to doing these sockets in this bedroom now. As you can see, that's gone. I couldn't save the wall, but it was so tight on the cap in, so I've knocked it off, and this room's getting skimmed anyway, so I wasn't that worried. This white cable used to go to there. It's now pulled back along. It actually drops down the wall. I'll show you. I've had to cut a little hatch, which is going to be under my new stairs, but I will patch that in. If you can see, that drops down the stairs to playroom. I've sussed this little circuit out now, but it comes basically from the playroom now into my socket. This will be my new cable, which runs along here. We'll go under the floor, obviously. It will then connect back up with this one, so there's no joint under the floor, which is nice. Always nice to do it that way. And this white one will pull out and go back along here, and then to a socket on the wall here, along with that grey one. That will then complete the ring. So yeah, that was a nice easy one. Right, here's where we're at. This wall's now completely plasterboarded, 2 sockets cut out, switch cut out, little 2-inch strip done there. I've started to fill the holes in the ceiling, and I've started to fill this gap up in here. What I'm doing is adding some timbers to this steel, screwing them through, and then just adding some plasterboard in. So that'll get done today. I want to get the lighting all done today. So that will leave me tomorrow to just chase in these sockets, 1, 2. I've got to get some sockets, I haven't got them. I'm going to go for the white clicks, they're the go-to ones now. There's no point in me second fixing the fan, so what I'll do is I'll just connect the feed into the switch and the switch line out to the lights, and I'll leave the shaver point and the fan feed disconnected here until this little bit's done, because this won't be done yet, but at least they'll be able to use these 2 new spotlights. Right, ceiling's plasterboarded here. What I will end up doing is just sticking some battens on this beam, plasterboarding that. That'll be that done. What I'm going to do now is stick some of these Wago boxes. If you can see the MF there, that stands for maintenance free. They come with a little, some people forget about these are just for fixing to a joist. Then you can slide the box in. That's easier under the floor rather than in the ceiling. I'm going to give you a little instruction booklet on which ones to use, but there we go. It's just going to get switched back, and you might say, why are you finishing when it's not plastered? Well, the client's dad is a plasterer, and he's going to come at his leisure really to do this, so I can't really hang about. So I'll second fix, he can then let them off like that. I'll put some long screws on, and then he can plaster around, and then I'll probably nip back at some point and just screw them back. So right, I'm done for the day. Leaves me tomorrow, second fix, 2 sockets, first and second fix, second fix this shower cable. I'll have to leave it in a box over there behind because I've got to wait for the plumber to put his cold feed in. Downlights are second fixed. I've put the light back up. I've also put the smoke back up. That one's back on. Yeah, so we're getting there now on this one. So tomorrow I've got to fit a door, some doors, 2 doors, do the sockets, second fix, and then I'll have to wait and come back when it's plastered. But I've got the stairs to do next. Not tomorrow, but next job-ish. 2-3 weeks time. But I'll see you tomorrow.
3:28 a.m.
Right, that's it guys on this one. As you can see, I only took a few pictures at the end. The client was there with me and we were going through a lot of stuff. I bought some contactant breakers this morning from TLC, so shout out to them. I bought 2 16s, a 20 amp and a 40 for the shower, so I should be able to derate them breakers on that side of the board. The only one I'm going to leave as a 32 is the kitchen ring main, obviously because you've got microwave, dishwasher, toaster, etc. in that area. Also, I've just got to do a little bit of testing on the shower circuit now. As you see, I've done all the lighting as far as I can go really. So if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the bell button for notifications on the channel, and I shall see you shortly. Take care.